Hi, Craig here for MakeMoneyTravelBlogging.com, and today I've got a question about analytics from Brian Riley from RoamingRileys.com. And Brian says they're gearing up to launch their website by the end of August, and they have a question relating to site analytics. How do you track your analytics? I've used Google before, but other than the cool map, didn't get much out of it. Google has a ton of metrics which were a bit overwhelming. What metrics do you find important, and what should we be paying the most attention to during our site's infancy? Which, if any, of the analytics are important to advertisers, and how do they typically price things? And yeah, so we will break this up. I've done a video recently on basing your advertising on the value you're giving advertisers rather than the numbers. But just to answer that briefly, advertisers are, well, banner advertisers and stuff like that will want to know about your social reach as well as your pure numbers. So unique visitors, especially from the geographical area they're targeting, the amount of page views you get per month, so they can work out how many people will be seeing their ad or how many impressions their ad will have every month. And also things like your subscriber numbers, so Facebook, Twitter, RSS and email newsletter numbers, whatever you can use to prove that you have reach and influence. So that's kind of the analytics that are important to advertisers, depending on the advertiser, of course. So let's have a look at analytics. I'm just going to bring that up on my screen here. Here we go. So this is the Google Analytics for MakeMoneyTravelBlogging.com. It's a new site. I've been running it since around Tibet, so I guess that's the end of July. And I had the domain up a little while before then, just with kind of a one-page website with some kind of links and some keywords just to get Google used to the idea the site existed. But I've only been using it actively for around a month, I think. So you can see here that Google Analytics starts off with this chart, and this is the amount of visits that you've got. And you can see these kind of peaks and troughs, which are really quite unhealthy, I think. So that's showing that we're getting rushes of social traffic, probably, that's what I'm guessing, or that someone influential has linked to an article and there's a rush of traffic from that site. But being a new site, a lot of our traffic's down at kind of 5 to 10 visits a day, which is fine. So I'm going to have a quick look here, and I check out how many visits I've had in the last 30 days, how many page views. Pages per visit, 1.59. Ideally, I'd like that to be higher. I'd like that to be around 3 pages per visit. You get people that come in and go away instantly. They've come in from Google, they're looking for something. But for quite a young site, we're not getting a lot of Google traffic. And so, yeah, these are people that are coming to the site to actually have a look through a link that's been recommended to them on another site most of the time. And yeah, so I think that's a bit low, and that's something that I'd like to think about increasing. Get it up above 2. The bounce rate here, how many people are coming to the site then going away again immediately, and that's at 75%. So that's a lot of people that are bouncing off. I need to create some way to draw people into other articles. I could do that using a related post plugin, linked within, which is another plugin, or something like that, something to draw people inwards. Average time on site is just over 1.5 minutes. I think this is pretty good for a young site without a lot of pages, without a lot of extra information. And this shows our traffic's reasonably quality. They're not coming in for 2 seconds, they're not pay-for-click traffic or big stumble-upon traffic where some people use it to find new stuff, other people just use it to generate traffic to their site, and that lowers your time on site dramatically. 70% new visits, so that means out of those 1,000 people that have come to the site, 300 of them have been to the site before, and 700 of them are brand new, so let's hope they're sticking around. Coming down here, I find this really interesting because I want to know where people are coming from. I can see that 48% of my traffic's coming in from referring sites. That might be, I'm going to guess that's mainly Twitter and Facebook. Direct traffic, people that are typing in the name, 43%, so that's quite high as well. Search engines are really low at only 7%, but as a young site that's fine. Google's trying to figure out what the site's about, and when I did the keyword research around this, it's really, really low. There's not a lot of people looking for make money travel blogging or related terms, but the people that are exactly my kind of audience, so I'm happy with that. And other, wow, God knows who those 1.4% are. Over here I can see my most popular pages. So these are posts that I might want to go back and upgrade. I might want to change them. I might want to include some more advertising in them because they're popular. And I also want to find out where that traffic's coming from so I can encourage it and try using similar techniques on other posts. Here's this funky map. I find it next to useless. The only times I find this useful when I'm looking for affiliate programs or advertisers that I'm matching up with. And then over here, keywords, this is where it's really helpful because you can see what people are finding you for. So sometimes it's just weird stuff, which is good fun. And other times it helps me to find out what to write articles about. If people are looking for and finding good information on a keyword, then I want to keep that going, so I might write more posts on that because Google understands our site is about that and people are coming and finding use. Of course, I want to look at the bounce rate on those articles and time on site and make sure it's actually quality traffic that we're attracting. So those are the first things that I look at. These are the things I've got set up on my dashboard. Visitors overview here. This is the amount of unique visitors. So we had 1,000 visits, but we've had 781 unique visitors, completely unique IP addresses. And so that's interesting as well. From here, one thing I like doing is seeing if my site's getting better or worse. So I'm going to click here and just click compare to past. And this allows me to see what happened this month compared with last month. This is a cool trick. So I'm immediately going to come and have a look down here. Over the last 30 days, 1,000 visits. In the past, about 910, so that's up 10%. Great, if we can keep improving, 10% month on month, that's great. Page views are up a little bit less, and therefore the pages per visit's down a little bit. So once again, I need to think of a way to keep people engaged in the site, keep them clicking, keep them finding other related materials. But there's only about 15 or 20 posts there, so I think that'll come with time. My bounce rate here's got a little bit worse, my time on site's got a little bit worse, and the amount of new visits got a little bit worse. So this is part of growing pains, I think, and not something that I'm going to stress about 2 months into the site. However, I am going to be thinking about if this continues for a long time, I want to figure out a way around it. I'm perhaps attracting bad traffic that isn't really interested in what I'm doing. If there's a high bounce rate, people coming in and going away. And average time on site, well, I think that's a pretty good stat there, about 1.5 minutes for a new site. As you're attracting more traffic from new sources, your average time on site might drop, especially because when you first start, it's your family and friends that are looking at your website, and they really care about you and love you and will spend time looking through your photos and reading your articles with great care. When you start attracting traffic from Google, they don't care about you until they've read a couple of your articles and get caught up in your journey. So don't panic when your traffic starts going up and your bounce rate starts going down. Your time on site starts going down. That's part of the birth pains, I think. So that's a really quick overview of Google Analytics and what I look at when I'm just kind of scanning through things. And maybe in the future we'll be able to dig a little bit more. But Brian, I hope that helps. And if you have any questions about making money travel blogging, then let me know. MakeMoneyTravelBlogging.com/questions.